Welcome in, everyone, to the Voice of College Football's Miami Hurricanes post-game show. Yeah, I'm having to actually broadcast to you tonight from Dante's 7th Circle of Hell, because that is basically where we are as Miami fans in this day and age. I went and took a nice little dip in the River Styx earlier, though. It was pretty good. Got a little exercise and stuff like that. Then I went back and watched that football game, and it has gotten nothing but worse. So what we are going to do right now is celebrate the fact that it's the offseason, baby, and we are back. I got Slim Shady Canes, Jordan Nelson at Jordan Canes, and our buddy, I guess he's going to go by Magna Collider 15, coming in with the bag on his head. What's going on, guys? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Appreciate you guys having me on. And, I was tweeting about it all night. I've detached myself emotionally from this season about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I'm having a good night. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, it was probably the healthy move. Probably the healthy move. I detached myself about 4 or 5 seasons ago, like as far as mentally. Yeah. But you got to learn. What about you, Slim?
Well, I've got my victory cigar, so that's something.
All right.
I don't know what else, but that's what I got.
Well, you're doing all right then. What about you?
I'm all right.
What about you, Magna? How you feeling about this?
This whole season's been horrible, dude. Tonight, I was just, I don't know. It's just spending like the last, 18 to 19 years of mediocrity compared to what I saw when I first became a Miami fan, watching even though we didn't win the Ohio State championship game, but it's just horrible.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. So looking forward, I know, Jordan, you said you could only be here for just a short amount of time, but what say you, man? What say you?
Well, so today was kind of interesting for me anyways, because I'm a big basketball fan, big NBA fan. And I've been cheering for my Utah Jazz to tank all season. And so they also lost tonight, and I'm super happy about that. So it's kind of weird. Both my teams lost, and I'm having a great night because I was cheering for the Jazz to lose. But long term, I don't know what to think, man. I don't have any strong feelings on Mario Cristobal right now in either direction. I get that we tasked him with reviving a once great program that has been long extinguished. So I don't necessarily – how can you set a timetable on that, especially one as quick as 8 months or 9 months? So I don't have strong feelings towards him. This season, how horrible it was kind of speaks for itself. So I also don't have any warm, fuzzy feelings about Mario right now. It's just kind of trust the process, hope it works out. We owe him. Didn't we sign him to a 10-year, $80 million contract or something? So I'm sure we have at least 4 more seasons of this, no matter how it goes. So all we can do is be optimistic.
I think we have more than 4 seasons, to be honest with you. Even after 4 years, you're looking at a $50 million buyout. As notoriously cheap as Miami is, you think they would even consider paying that?
Yeah. Well, 4 seasons in addition to this one. I'm thinking the earliest is year 5. But you're right, though. It might even be after year 6 or 7.
Well, I'm hoping something turns around. We've talked on previous post-game shows where we were, either basically seems like most of the season we were teaching our sorrows how to swim. But we've talked about it. We can't be the team that just, goes over and over and over and over and just fires the coach every 2 years, 3 years. So, we're stuck with them. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what's got us in the situation we're in.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully we won't be looking at it like we're stuck with him in 2 years and in 3 years. Maybe we'll be on the up and up. So nobody has any way of knowing right now. For sure. Obviously, he don't jive with the players there now. So hopefully the new ones coming in are a good fit.
Well, I think Florida State. I mean, there's case studies, with Jim Harbaugh in Michigan. Obviously, it took him about 7 years to get the ball rolling. But I think even if you just look up in Tallahassee with Mike Norvell, I think most Florida State fans were kind of, before the season started, we're trying to get creative on how they could remove him from head coach. And now they just had a great season. And they looked every bit of 9-3 or whatever they went. So I think that lends credence to the idea that it's never like there's no reason to want to fire Mario right now, as ugly as this season has been. I mean, that's kind of why my ethos is just enjoy the ride right now. Just pour yourself a drink and enjoy seeing the logo on TV, and let's
Well,
right.
I was
go
just
on,
going to
Slim.
say, I think Mario's own record speaks to the credence of give his process time. I mean, when he took over FIU, they were 0-12. I mean, he took them to a bowl game, won their conference. When he took over Oregon, they were 4-8. Yeah. He won the conference twice, won the Rose Bowl. So his method obviously works.
Yeah.
It just, when you're in the shape that Miami's gotten itself into by repeatedly firing people, it's not going to happen year one. And I got killed for it this past offseason when I predicted Miami to go 6-6.
Good for you, man.
That would have been nice.
I'm about to say that was being a little gracious, apparently.
Yeah, I think I went with 8-4, and was called a hater. So I imagine going 6-6 would be, extra.
Oh, Slim was catching some major hate. He was told he was an absolute moron.
I'm not a real Miami fan, and
clearly you were a moron. It was 5-7 was the right answer.
I know. God, I'm such an idiot. But no, what I did is I looked around college football in general, and even the coaches that we would consider some of the best now. Nick Saban year one, anywhere he's been, not great. Kirby Smart year one at UGA, not great.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh, that was just brought up, first year at Michigan, not great. And actually, 9 times out of 10, you tend to have a worse record than you did the year before year one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the thing that makes it hurt a little bit for me, because I agree with everything you're saying, and it's correct. The thing that hurts, though, is there was so much coaching turnover in the ACC this year, and we really caught the most flack in terms of that turnover hurting us. Duke had a great year. Georgia Tech fired their coach halfway through the season and still finished with a better record than we did. So it's.
But what's the common denominator there? What's the common denominator amongst all of them? Justin Fuente had been at Virginia Tech for 5 years. David Cutcliffe had been there since he rode the dinosaur into town.
Yeah.
Even Jeff Collins, it was year 4.
Yeah.
There is continuity, and a coaching staff cannot be underestimated.
Yeah, that's true.
And we're in the position, and I brought this up on this very show. Will Mallory is a perfect example. He's had 3 head coaches and 3 offensive coordinators.
Yeah.
Is it a wonder that he hasn't gotten any better?
No, that's totally fair.
So Jordan, let me ask you while we got you here. What do you think of do you think there needs to be changes done to the coordinating staff, or like where do you find yourself there?
Oh, I don't know, man. It's hard to say. It's hard to tell. Obviously Gaddis has had a rough season for us. There's been gaffes in the play calling. It's debatable whether the scheme has fit the personnel. I know he's trying to say that we've run 3 different offenses. All of them have looked terrible. Regression of Tyler Van Dyke, regression of some of the wide receivers. So there is stuff that doesn't look so great for Gaddis. However, at the end of the day, I don't think the players were very good this year either. So to me, it's kind of a chicken or the egg argument, like what's really the problem here? Like we probably won't find out for a few years. So, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Josh Gaddis gets fired, but I also wouldn't overly be shocked if he comes back and looks better next season.
Well,
right.
I think
I agree with that.
I think there's a component you're not taking into it as well, and this is why I'm of the belief Gaddis should be back next year. And honestly, even this game is kind of the telltale sign of it. Our only consistent wide receiver missed half the season. Yeah. We are now down all 5 original starting offensive linemen. We're down to 3rd string left guard and center. We lost 2 quarterbacks in one game. I mean, and I agree with you. There have been some head scratching times with Gaddis. I think there are a few times where I didn't necessarily agree with his personnel decision as far as I would have used more Thad Franklin this year myself. Yeah. But I think those are kind of minor things. I mean, when you take everything in totality, the injuries, the lack of effort from players. Yeah. It may not be his scheme may not fit some of the players that are here. Okay, grant that. I think everything in totality, I think he should be back next year.
Yeah. And I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I'm not a sources guy. I don't have any friends inside the Heck Center. but me
and you were the only ones.
Yeah.
On YouTube? Wait, you don't have sources?
I know, right?
Oh, stop. All right. Stop the breath. Stop the breath.
But, like, people reach out and say stuff to me that apparently, I still hear stuff. It's more second or third or fourth hand, right? So at this point, I really wouldn't be surprised if Gaddis isn't there. That kind of seems to be the consensus amongst people who do claim to know things, but who knows, man? I mean, the track record for people who claim to know things isn't great either. But
hey, hang on. Let me check Twitter.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure I can find something legitimate there.
Yeah.
Hey, if it's on Twitter, it must be the truth.
Exactly.
Very sure.
And, you did hit the nail on the head with all the injuries and stuff, and that's why, I kind of don't have a definitive opinion. I do really, it was really tough to watch Tyler Van Dyke be so terrible to start the season. He was really the only thing that we could have banked on. When it was preseason, we were talking about stuff. It was there's so many question marks, but we have Tyler Van Dyke. He, is a first-round quarterback on just about every mock draft you can find. He, was matching Joe Burrow numbers in perhaps the greatest quarterback season of all time that Burrow had.
He was projected as a Heisman favorite by a lot of people.
And so now, granted, that doesn't mean it's 100% Gaddis's fault, right? There's a lot of stuff that could have gone into Tyler Van Dyke's preparation. So there's more variables in that than just the offensive coordinator. But that was such a massive bungle, if you will, that I don't even know how to assess the situation, to be honest.
Well, and I kind of had the same thought preseason, and something that dawned on me early on in the season that I didn't take into consideration the offseason. We had 5 seniors on the offensive line last year, and the offensive line still wasn't great. Yeah. So, I mean, is it any kind of surprise that the offensive line hasn't played good since game 1?
Look at that, Jordan. You got your fan club showing up here, man.
I know. I appreciate the recognition.
It's good to have Jordan in here, man. Jordan and I have been friends for years. We've chatted back and forth on that Twitter machine for quite a few years now.
I was
the Bird app.
I was kind of wishing the other day when everyone was doomsdaying Twitter when they were saying it was going away. Part of me was wishing that it would have.
I know that would have been nice. I'm I was just happy that I got your digits before the end of the Twitterverse. At least we can keep in touch. MDB 2006 with the $4.99 super chat. He says, "You telling me Billy Napier can get his kids to be competitive and fight, but Mario and his staff can't?" Yeah, I guess that's the reality we live in. I can go back to the Dante's the Inferno hell that I live in background, but that's the reality, I guess. I mean, that's what happened this year.
I think it's a simple thing if you look at it too. They went from Manny Diaz, the head coach, who, let's put it this in terms everybody will understand. Manny Diaz wanted to be the cool parent when it came to being a head coach. And now you've got the drill sergeant father as the parent or head coach.
Yeah.
And to say that probably caused some friction, I think is an understatement.
Yeah, I think that's, 100% accurate, at least. And, I think that's something that's been very observable. There is a big change in just aura, vibe, if you want to call it that, between Manny Diaz doing a water slide after barely beating Virginia. I think that was Virginia. Might have been Georgia Tech. To what we're seeing from Mario this year. It's just totally different. And higher expectations, more demanding cultural, team structure, that type of thing. And it wouldn't surprise me if Mario was just trying to weed people out this year. Almost going as hard as he could on the kids, being as rough as he could, in the sense of, seeing how badly these kids wanted to play for Miami and earn the victories, or if they just wanted the Instagram clout of being able to post highlights with a legendary logo on the side of their helmet.
And you hit the nail on the head, sir.
Right. Exactly. Amen. to that.
Yeah.
I could have said it better myself. I think he hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. Yeah,
and to his credit,
Jordan's smart on this subject, man.
To his credit, that's exactly the same thing Mike Norvell did when he came into Florida State.
Yeah.
What happened when he came in? A bunch of people got run out.
Yeah.
And then he started recruiting, bringing in transfers. And Florida State's not as good as their record, grant that, because they've got, a winning record against bad teams, and they lost to every ranked team they played. But Florida State is better than they were, in 2020 when we beat them by the exact same point differential they beat us this year.
Yeah. Well, so now that you mention it, there was a controversy. I remember having a phone conversation with my friend about it. And I know it blew up into a bigger issue, socio-political issue that's not really what I want to get into. But wasn't it that he didn't allow hoods or didn't allow – there was something that he was barring team members from wearing into the athletic facility. And I can't remember exactly what it was. But, I know that it was somewhat blown up to a bigger proportion. But I think it goes along with what you're saying. If you really get it down to brass tacks, that establishing a culture and weeding out players that wouldn't fit his vision for the program.
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about. And it's when you take it down to bare bones, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Hey, James Kane, I would love to highlight your comment, but I'm not going to do it. But I agree with you.
Yeah. So I got a question for you guys. Who do you think is starting quarterback week 1 of next year?
Oh,
that's simple for me. I think Van Dyke's coming back.
Okay.
You think so?
Yeah, I think Garcia will be the one to transfer. Excuse me. And Brown and Van Dyke will both come back.
Part of
what about you, Magna? What do you think?
I'd probably lean toward what Slim's going with too. I'd probably say Van Dyke. Even though at times I kind of felt like he might want to go elsewhere, maybe SMU with Rhett Lashley. But at this point, I mean, I think Van Dyke gives us the best chance to win if he's fully healthy.
With the offense that we have currently been running, or?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I still would like to see him more in a higher tempo like Lashley system, but I mean, if he can learn Gaddis' system and be fully healthy, and I think that's just been the problem. To me, it looks like starting out the season, it looked like Van Dyke just wasn't comfortable.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do think that he was a much better fit for Lashley's offense.
Oh yeah, much more so. Yeah.
I mean that was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Well, and here's my problem with Lashley's offense, because it's what Gus Malzahn runs. It's very similar to what Chip Kelly runs. Very similar to what Mike Leach runs. Who's ever won a championship running that offense? Nobody.
No, and I hate the offense. Right. I mean, I'm as sick to death as anybody else of the constant hiring and firing and hiring and firing and blah blah blah. Can we just stick to one thing for more than a year and a half, 2 years? But oh my God, I hate his offense. I want something exciting. I mean, it's just not exciting.
And I think there's something to be said for, even Van Dyke was in his second year of that offense along with the rest of the offense. And that's probably why he was able to come in and look good immediately once Derek King went down last year.
The
norm is not just when you hire a new head coach, when you hire a new coordinator for that side of the ball, you're hitting the reset button.
Yeah.
And
and like we touched on before, that I mean, it would be exciting if they were actually executing the plays properly and scoring touchdowns with it. That would be exciting. If they caught the ball, it would be exciting. Right. So there's so many different things you can put into perspective there when you look at it and go, whoa, had he caught that ball, that would have been an exciting play. But no, the quarterback overthrew him by 15 yards, or he dropped it, or he caught it and coughed it up 2 seconds later. So there's so many factors here on this season. Yeah. This season's just been a total dumpster fire.
And I'll freely admit, the main reason I like the offense Gaddis is trying to run, because he's trying to run that power spread, which is the dominant offense in the NFL right now. Great, because I, like most Miami fans, love to see them go to the NFL and absolutely dominate. So if they're going to be running the same offense in college, that's what's most prevalent in the NFL. 1 + 1 is 2.
But I want to see him win. I'm not an NFL fan. I'm a Dolphins fan, so maybe that's why I'm not an NFL fan anymore. But I want to see him win in college, though. I mean, I want to see our program do good.
Yeah.
But I will say to everybody out there listening that as far as it goes, there's nobody else that I would rather suck with and lose with and be like right along other than my Hurricane fam. You guys, there's nobody else that I would rather be a fan of the most horrible team in the world with than all of you. So I love every single one of you. I just want you to know that.
Hey, we ain't got Georgia Tech problems. So
no, we actually did beat them. We actually did beat them, which was great. I'd have hated to have to listen to Christopher McDavitt talk about how Georgia Tech beat Miami for a whole year. That would be horrible, Slim.
Well, and I want to address this last comment, MIA Canes 83. Is that we need Gaddis to focus on the offense and get a wide receiver coach. Well, the NCAA only allows you to have so many coaches. Every coordinator in the country is also a position coach. I mean, that's how it works, because I think it's 9 coaches the NCAA allows them to have, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I'm not exactly sure on that. Anybody else?
They have a set number.
I don't know anything.
It's somewhere around 9 or 10 that they're allowed to have. Now those quote unquote analysts, I mean, you can have 100 of them if you feel like it.
Yeah.
So here's another one. Manuel Soto says Mario is the problem. Anybody want to address that, or?
I mean, maybe I'm too optimistic, but I just don't. I don't think there's any. I'm just not even close to that yet. You know, I don't think it's possible to tell that it's just Mario yet, in the sense that we've had no success and we've had roughly a similar approach, from the last few coaches, and now he's coming in with a different approach and it looks really horrible. But I mean, maybe if we still look like this in 2 seasons, then it'll be pretty obvious who's the problem, right? And it'll be Mario. But
right. I agree with that totally. If in 2 seasons we look like the same dumpster fire that we have looked like this season, then Mario is the problem. But you can't throw that off on him this season coming in. I mean, those players, we've talked about it before. They didn't buy in.
Yeah, they didn't. Well, it's like I said earlier, when we first got started, I mean, Mario has brought up both programs he was a head coach from the absolute, pits of hell that they were in. Yeah. I mean, you don't get no worse than, FIU being 0-12 to winning their conference. And I think they made their first bowl game. Oregon, after Chip Kelly had been a disaster, mainly because they hired Willie Taggart. But, I mean, he brought them back too.
Yeah, MDB 2006 with another $4.99 super chat. Thanks so much, my friend. Georgia Tech actually beat a team with a winning record, something we didn't get close to doing this year. But at least we beat Georgia Tech. At least we beat Georgia Tech.
Well, that's that transitive property in football hard at work.
Right, exactly. It's sad. I mean, we've had a really, really, really sad, pathetic season. And here we are doing the last Miami postgame show of the season. So, I mean, we at least have to have some fun with it, right?
Let's keep things in perspective, though. I mean, I can't speak for our 2 esteemed colleagues, but, I'm old enough. I've seen worse Miami teams. I mean, you go back to like 97. Miami was definitely worse in 97.
But Slim, I don't know. That's an argument I'm almost willing to have, because yes, talent-wise, maybe we were worse then, but attitude-wise and just the soul of the team, I have never seen a team so just blah, devastated, flat, horrible. At least, and I mean, they at least seemed like they had some soul then. But
actually, I would disagree. Because think of what was going on then. That's when they were in the middle of that debacle of being deducted 31 scholarships.
No, I know when you're talking about, but it still seemed like those kids wanted to play. I said kids. Damn it, I hate when I say that. But those guys wanted to play, and they were actually. I mean, there was besides 3 or 4 players on the field today, from what I could see, nobody gave a dang about what was going on out there. You had a few players playing their hearts out, but at the high talent level that we are at, I mean, there's no excuse. This season in the 46 years that I've been alive was the most dismal, horrible, flat, just pathetic season of Miami football I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I mean, that, like you said, that can be debated, whether it's, 97 or I think Randy's first year, we went 5-7.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Slim.
Al's first year, I think we went 5. I mean, this is only the third time since '97 that they haven't been bowl eligible. So it doesn't come around often.
So one thing that I want to bring up to just kind of add perspective, maybe hopefully send people into the offseason feeling a little more optimistic, though. We took the victory lap as always, off-season champions, like 25 years in the running, of all the money that we spent. We stole Dan Radakovich from Clemson. We announced new football facilities on campus. Signed Mario to an $80 million deal, kind of wrote him a blank check for the staff. So those things were celebrated in the short term last offseason, but really all of those things were long-term wins for the fans. Announcing a football facility doesn't do anything for us this year. Expanding our pocketbook doesn't really do anything for us short term. Because of continuity and stuff like that. Getting Dan Radakovich in here, I mean, he's only been the athletic director of Miami for 8 months. Alonzo Highsmith has only been with the program for 8 months, something like that, 9 months. So hopefully the fruits of those victories, I'll call them victories, will manifest themselves next year or the year following. I don't think it was reasonable to expect the money to translate to wins immediately. It's pouring a foundation for a championship program. But Mario now just has to frame it. The foundation is laid. Now the rest of the building has to go up.
I think
we got nowhere to go but there.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And even to take a step beyond that, all the success they've had has been almost despite the university. This is the first time in Miami's history that the university is actually trying to support the football program.
Yeah, for sure.
So positivity going forward, I guess is a consensus.
Well, I am, yeah.
Yeah. Me. I'm always positive. I'm guessing like it's the off season, guys. Come on, it's time to start having a good time. It's the off season.
Based off of what he just said, and the fact that despite our record, we're still looking at a top 5 class. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, me too. I was so ready for the season to end just because it was a nightmare, like worst case scenario. But I'm fine. I'm ready for next year. I'm excited to see next year.
It's the off season, baby.
We just gotta flush this season down the toilet, man. But it's over with. Like it's gone. It's in the rearview mirror. So that's a positive.
Definitely a positive that this is over.
Yeah. And
looking back at the year, I'm like, I feel like we should have that, like, in the arms of, looking back, what was Sarah McLachlan?
Oh, yeah.
We got Sarah McLachlan playing in the background, we're like, for only 99 cents a month, you can help a Miami fan get a new hat from the Salvation Army. Yeah, it's pretty bad, but it's been fun. I mean,
yeah.
Any time that we get to spend a whole nother year above ground watching college football, even if we're watching our team lose, it's been a better year than a whole lot of other people. So,
yeah, well, and Workforce Freebie makes a good point. We bottomed out at 5 and 7. You realize how many programs in the country would be glad to bottom out there?
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, Florida State's made one bowl game in 5 years and lost it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, if that's the worst that we're going to get, excuse me, is a 5 and 7 season, I can deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I look at it too. At least our colors are cool, and our clothes look good, and we got a cool insignia to wear in our hat. Our mascot's cool. Even though some people call him a duck, the ibis is really cool. So,
I'm out here in Salt Lake City. That's I've lived in Salt Lake City my whole life, and I cannot tell you how many times I've had people ask me why Miami's logo is a duck or their mascot.
See, I don't hear a lot here because I've been here in Memphis for about 15, 20 years now, and they don't care about the University of Memphis if it isn't basketball season. Tennessee fans have been quiet till this year.
Yep.
Ole Miss, it's Ole Miss. They just don't care. Neither is Mississippi State, for that matter.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm just a weirdo in Alabama that likes Miami. Everyone's like an Alabama or Auburn fan, which I don't mind Auburn. I just hate Alabama.
Yeah.
I just
man, I'd kill to be an Alabama fan or have a good reason to cheer for them.
Speaking of which, did anybody see that clip of that Pitt player mutilating his head with his helmet on the sideline?
Yeah, that was weird.
No, I didn't either.
Oh, dude, he was like bashing himself in the head with his helmet on the sideline for some odd reason. He was mad about something.
That was typical meathead behavior. That's what we call that.
He looked like a lineman too.
Yeah. I think it was a defensive lineman because he's number 90 something.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks a lot, Joey Foster, for tuning in, and I appreciate you, man. Other people too. We got a lot of people in here. Workforce, Freebie, MDB 2006. You're always showing good support. I am reading the chat. I'm trying to go. Emmanuel Soto, the Gainesville Knoll. Oh no, we got the Knolls. We got the Knolls coming in here to troll us. I love it. I love it.
Who was it that did that in the NFL?
And
was that Mike Allstott that busted open his forehead and had blood running down his face? Is that who it was?
That happened quite a bit, yes.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, well, you know what was funny? After a particularly rough practice, Tony Dungy made a rule that John Lynch and Mike Allstott were not allowed to touch each other in practice anymore. I mean, talk about the unstoppable force meets the immovable object.
Yeah, right.
Because that was heyday John Lynch. Woo!
Yeah.
I hope so too, Mike Haynes. I hope so too. I hope we get our revenge. I hope we get our sweet revenge, and I think we will. I think sticking with the program, next year we will be better. We will be better. I'm already starting it. It's the off season for Miami Hurricanes fans. I'm already starting it. Slim. What's your prediction for next year?
Oh Lord.
Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Come on.
I think he's going to hit the transfer portal hard. So I think, right in that 8-4, 9-3 range is definitely possible.
All right. Kyle, what do you think?
Shoot, I have no clue after this season.
Come on. Take a fun guess. It'll be on the internet. That lasts forever. No pressure.
If you're taking my feeling from right now, I'd say 7-5 maybe.
Hey, we're bowl eligible.
All right, 7-5. We're going to a bowl game.
I'd take that. I mean,
all right. Well, what about you, Jordan? Come on. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I'm gonna set it at 7.5 wins.
7.5 wins.
Yep. So I can't decide between 7-5, 8-4. Want to say 8-4, but I mean, history.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you my official prediction, and if there's any betting people right now, you should probably lock it in because I say we go at least our bottom would have to be 317-0 is my prediction. So, get ready for the off season.
And the reason I think that they can do good, it'll be, a lot of people's second season, in the offensive system, in the defensive system, and on top of the recruiting class, which we know is going to be good. I brought up transfers specifically. And especially, I mean, Texas A&M's basically a Black Friday going out of business sale on 5-star recruits right now. I mean, they're leaving left and right. So if they've got some guys in there that can fit into the system they're going to run, do it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys having me on, but unfortunately, I have to go.
Well, listen, Jordan. Thanks for coming on with us. That was awesome. I've actually got. Let me turn my cam back on. See this cool shirt right here? Jordan actually made this shirt.
Yeah.
And sent this shirt to me. It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, and my shirt, my hat are both products from About the Fans. It's a website or a retail outfitter that I'm partnered in with. A lot of people knew it as Stickers by AB. So T-shirts, hats, stickers, all types of gear for Canes fans. So definitely check out aboutthefans.com and
and you can find that too, like you're on Twitter, right?
Yeah, at aboutthefans_. Or if you can go to my page at Jordan Canes, and it's in the bio there. So
yeah, go to at Jordan Canes, sub him up there, and you'll find everything else at the bottom because you do 4Ups podcast too with Marsh, right?
Correct.
Right. So that's another thing. If you're on Spotify, Apple Pod, all that bullshit. Things. I didn't say it, Mark. I didn't say it. If you're on all those podcast things, it's like fours, like the number 4 with an S and ups podcast. Yeah. Check that out. It
was a rough season. We didn't do a lot of content this year, but hopefully we can find the gumption to do more this off season and during next season. So yeah,
well, that's cool. Jordan, thanks so much for joining us, and thanks for the cool shirt too, man.
Absolutely.
Thanks for the cool shirt.
Appreciate you guys having me on.
Yep.
Always, man. Always, my friend.
Yep.
It's the off season, baby. It's the off season. It is the off season. We are back, Miami Hurricanes fans. We are back. Kyle. Sorry, I guess I should. Is it bad? I said, dang it. Let's see. I have to go to Magna. Okay. Magna is what say you, man? What's your takeaway? You want to vent? You want to make a joke? What you got?
Jeez, man. I just want to. Yeah, I think like typically this is how it is though for me. By the end of the season, like by the beginning of the season, I'm like, okay, I'm realistic about our team, but at the same time, I'm excited. And like by now, I'm just like, I'm ready for the off season. Like I'm ready to just go watch the championship games, watch the playoffs, see what happens there, and then just get in the off season, see what goes on with recruiting and all, and then hopefully the new season will bring better luck and we'll get to actually look forward to the Battle of the Miamis in week 1, right?
I hope so.
Miami versus Miami of Ohio, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll. Oh my God! Well, what if we actually lost to Miami of Ohio? That would be.
Don't even say that.
I was going to say, please. I hope not.
I mean, is that possible? Oh no. It's the off season. That is totally impossible.
Well, I mean, I don't have a whole lot of worries going forward myself. I mean, if you listen to what Mario says in his press conferences, and the process that he likes to say repeatedly, I mean, it pull up a Nick Saban interview. He sounds just like him.
Yeah,
it's almost verbatim. So, I mean, if he's taking the Nick Saban blueprint to building this team, okay, I'm good. Because I mean, everybody knows that process works.
Right. I have optimism looking forward. I really do.
Yeah, I think we're in good hands with Mario. But like Slim, how many more years out do you think we are from, I guess seeing consistency? Do you think?
Well, I know I'm the minority on this, but I've been preaching it on YouTube. I mean, as long as I've been on here since 2015, 2016.
Right.
I mean, in my opinion, if you're going to hire a coach, any coach, outside of them going 0-12 or a major off the field scandal, there shouldn't be the slightest consideration of firing him or anybody else for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what it takes.
Right.
I mean, you have exceptions to the rule. Obviously, Kirby's one of them. But, I mean, Nick Saban's one of the greatest. It took him 3. Should we expect Mario to do it faster? No, we shouldn't.
No. That's why I didn't get why so many fans at the beginning of the season thinking, he could just come in and wave a magic wand and we'd be 12-0.
Yeah, you don't build a championship football team that way.
No.
No, anybody who thought Mario Cristobal was just going to all of a sudden, bounce down to Miami and we were going to be, playoff team. I mean, come on. That was really reaching.
Yeah. Well, and I think workforce here sums it up perfectly. I mean, I think it can be done, now with the transfer portal, 3 or 4 years, you might find yourself in contention, maybe, but it also takes a bit of luck.
That's true.
And Miami's got to work on turning their luck around, because if it wasn't for bad luck, they wouldn't have any at all.
No, absolutely not. I mean, the beginning of this game tonight was just horrid. I was sitting there watching and it's like interception, and it was like, okay, we intercepted. I was like, holy cow, wait, what the heck is going on? And it got nothing but worse from there.
Well, tonight was Newton's law in full effect. Anything that can go wrong will.
But that's the whole season in a nutshell. I mean, we haven't had one ball bounce in our favor in the whole season. Everything went wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean, tonight kind of encompassed that, though. Look at the first half. You lose a quarterback. You play 2 more quarterbacks. You have a lost fumble and 2 interceptions. And then in the second half, 2 offensive linemen and another quarterback go down. I mean, It was just,
I mean, what else do you say about it other than that, Slim?
I mean, I hate Isaac Newton right now. I really do. But,
I mean,
and listen, and I've said this before, but it just rings itself true over and over and over in college football. College football is cyclical.
Yeah.
Every big name team goes through, 15 to 20 year droughts. It happens to them all. I mean, God rest him. I've heard Jeff Webster say it many times. I mean, he had been an Alabama fan long enough. He had seen 2 20-year droughts out of them.
But yeah, I mean, he helped Noah carry down.
Well, I get it. Yeah.
The 10 Commandments, But yeah, he'd seen it all, and God bless Jeff Webster.
And it's kind of our own fault this one has lasted as long as it has. I mean, it maybe could Randy have been a better coach? We'll never know, but he never got the backing from the university or the money to hire coaches like Mario has.
No, and I think Al Golden could have been a lot better coach than what he had, but same kind of thing.
Yeah, well, literally, wasn't it the day after they hired Golden, the story broke about Nevin Shapiro? I mean, he literally walked into that.
Yeah.
Right. That was horrible.
So, and then look, once it cleared and the NCAA come down with, their quote unquote punishment. I mean, 9 scholarships over 3 years. That was nothing. But them investigating it for 2.5 years killed recruiting. But when that was done and over with, and he could recruit again, 1.5 years is what they gave him, and they ran him out.
Yeah, I mean, we are Miami fans. We are used to being against the whole world. So, I mean, that's just where we are. And this season, the world beat us. But like I said before, there's nobody I'd rather lose with than all of you out there.
Exactly.
We're the best. Yeah. We're the coolest freaking losers in the whole United States. I promise you that.
And I see a lot of people out there, they want to get rid of Kevin Steele, too. I mean, he's another one where, I mean, his resume just speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I mean, people want to throw up, the bad blowout at Clemson against West Virginia. I mean, I can pull up a game where when Nick Saban was a defensive coordinator, he got a 60-burger dropped on him.
Andy's got a cool name, Slim. I mean, Kevin Steele.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty cool name. I mean, with a name like that, you could be like a college football coach, WWF wrestler. Kevin Steele. Do you not agree?
Yeah.
I think it's a better name than Walter Cronkite. Should have had him doing the news.
Yeah, I mean, even Kevin Steele could probably grow a cool mustache and have a career in porn. I mean, if you really wanted to do it, it is Kevin Steele coming up. You know what I mean? He's got a cool name, so I got faith in that.
Oh, by the way, and this might be at the very least, some people will find it funny. FAU finally got smart and they announced they fired my drunk Uncle Willie today.
Oh, no, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Willie Taggart's services are no longer required at Florida Atlantic.
Oh. That's a sad day in college football history.
Ain't it, though?
What was their record, Slim? How bad?
I would have to look it up. I mean, he's got him a couple of Miami transfers. I mean, Perry's down there, Highsmith's down there.
Probably 5 and 7. Probably 5 and 7.
Yeah.
I mean, any team that goes 5 and 7 ought to. Oh wait.
Let's not finish that statement.
Right. we can just start a whole nother churning the pot of hatred. Yeah. Yeah. It's fun.
We were talking about potential transfers and. The Duke Wake Forest games on. There's a whole lot of talk about Sam Hartman possibly transferring to Florida.
Yeah, I've been saying something about that.
And then also to add insult to injury to any Florida State fans left in the chat, 1-3 is reporting that Travis Hunter has contacted Miami about transferring there.
Oh, that would be funny.
Oh, wow.
I told people when he went there, he's going to get his $2 million check and bounce. And apparently he wants to stick it to Florida State one more time because if they're correct and he's contacting Miami to transfer there, there's going to be some mad Seminoles.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
It would be.
Oh, we do have it. The Gainesville Knoll is still in the house. So we do have one, Slim. We do have one still hanging around. I do hate the fact that the Gainesville Knoll is going to a bowl game and we're not, but
well,
we'll see what happens.
We've been to a bunch of bowl games and decided to lose them. They've been to one in 5 years. I mean, sun shines on a rabid dog's ass every once in a while.
I mean, why is it that Miami always just? I mean, we go to these bowl games and we just let the other team win. I mean, we got to quit being so nice, man.
Well, and here's what I'm going to worry about with. I know the quick thought is, and Florida State fans are believing this. Oh, Florida State's back, and we're going to dominate the state of Florida. Because I've heard a lot of Florida State YouTubers talking about it. Well, there's a couple of fundamental problems with that. Number one, Jordan Travis is literally the only quarterback on that team.
Yeah.
I mean, he's it. And number two, and I hate this because I want Florida State to be good because we play them every year. When it comes to the big three in Florida and recruiting, Mike Norvell's sucking hind tit.
Yeah.
So if he wants to keep that spot atop the state of Florida that he achieved this year, he's going to have to step it up. And like I said, I want him to. I want Florida State to be good because we play them every year.
I always like when our little sister is doing okay. I mean, I always root for my little sister.
I put it like this. I can't stand the Gators. I've got respect for Florida State at the very least.
Yeah, at least they play us every year.
Right.
I mean, well, we're in the same conference, but still, even when we were not in the same conference.
Yeah, that is a really fun rivalry. I love my Florida State people. I do.
Oh, I agree. And I think Bobby Bowden put it best when he was asked about it. He said he was asked about, excuse me, after Florida took us off the schedule about, Florida State possibly taking Miami off the schedule. And he said no. He said playing Miami every year is part of the reason we're as good as we are. Both of those teams made each other what they were. And, for all the people that look at Nick Saban as the greatest coach of all time, which I think he's got a legit argument for second or third. I don't think he's the greatest. Nobody would be talking about Nick Saban if Bobby Bowden had decided to drop Miami. Bobby Bowden would have 20 national titles.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Rest in peace to him. I had a lot of respect for Bobby Bowden.
Yeah, that made the rivalry great. I mean, those were the good old days. I mean, in my mind. Yeah, dadgummit. Them's were the good old days in my mind. Yeah, that was great. That was great times. And the Gainesville Nobles, we appreciate you being here, man. I mean,
And
at the end of the day, it's all
just
about college football fun. Yeah, we love you, man. Thanks for being here.
And I don't say that just as like a reminiscing of old times. I think, like I said, they played such an integral part of both teams being good. I still think they need each other. Almost in a way. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I totally agree. I mean, that is a rivalry game and so should be with the Gators as well. I don't understand. I hate that one disappeared as well because those three teams should play each other every year.
Well, I'm not a fan of politicians getting involved in college sports, but I wouldn't be mad if Florida did the same thing as South Carolina. It is state law in South Carolina that Clemson and South Carolina have to play each other every year. And if Ron DeSantis made it to where Miami, Florida, and Florida State all have to play each other every year, I wouldn't be mad about it.
Oh, let's start pitching this idea. This is that's brilliant, Slim.
I wouldn't be mad about it. I'm just saying.
No, I would not be mad about that at all either.
No, we should play Florida every year too. I mean, somebody's got to win the state of Florida, so.
Yeah, there should be a Florida champ every year.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the only team that has a chance, because they actually used to hand out a trophy. It was called the Governor's Cup.
Yeah.
And the only team that has a chance to win it is Florida State.
Yeah.
So, hey, bring back the Governor's Cup. Make them play each other every year.
That's brilliant, Slim.
I have my moments.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Geez.
That's the thing. Like with the Miami Florida rivalry, we play for the Seminole War Canoe, right?
Yes,
but
sir.
I don't hear about it. Like when we played them in 2018. Is that a thing, or do we?
It is still it is in the football. It's in the Hague.
Okay.
Florida, when they beat us in what was that 2008, I think it was, and when they beat us in 2019, they raised a stink both times about getting that canoe, and very clearly, the athletic director told them both times that trophy goes to the winner of the yearly series. You want it, restart the series. If not, it'll stay in Miami forever.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. I've always wondered that.
Yeah, but doesn't it feel good? I mean, we're in the off season.
Yeah, we're 15 and we're going 15-0 again.
Exactly. So you guys about ready to wrap this up? I mean,
it's your world, boss. I just live in it.
What about you? Wait, I can't. I gotta. What the hell name are you going by right now? All right, Magna. I don't want to call you something other than Magna because that's what you got up there on the thing.
I was gonna say you can either Magna or Kyle. Either way.
Okay, Kyle. I'm gonna keep calling you Kyle then because that's who you actually are.
Yeah.
What about you, Kyle? You got anything you want to throw out here at the end of this stream and say to any Miami fans listening or anything like that?
I was just pleasantly surprised that Ohio State got beat.
Yeah, that was really nice.
I wasn't really expecting Michigan to win again. I don't know. I didn't have a good feeling, but I'm glad that they beat them. That's another team I can't stand.
Who, Michigan?
Ohio State.
Oh, Ohio State. And no Miami fan can you have. I actually heard they were Ohio State fans bitching about a pass interference call, and I was laughing. I was like, Ohio State fans. Anytime they complain about a pass interference call, I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, keep talking. So what about you, man? You got like a page?
So I'm on Twitch. I stream COD Zombies. So that's what I do. I just love having fun, connecting with people. If they decide to come out. So Magna Collider 15, that's my Twitch username. So, hey, if you want to come out and watch me, support me, that'd be cool.
Hey, there you go. If you're on Twitch, go to Magna Collider 15 and you will find Kyle there. And Kyle's been one of our most active commenters and supporters and everything. He's a good guy, man. Follow there, and you're on Twitter too, right?
Yes. Yeah. Same username.
Yeah, there you go. Follow Kyle there.
I've been listening to Slim since Zoe's channel since I think Zoe was like the first. Well, All About the U, and then Zoe was like the first two Miami YouTubers I found. So.
Oh yeah, that was back in the day. People they called us Wesley and Woody.
Yeah,
we'd go back and forth like Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes from White Men Can't Jump.
White Men Can't Jump. That's awesome. Slim has been pissing people off on YouTube for quite a few years now.
Yeah, well, I try. Be good or be good at it. It's what my mama taught me.
Well, she taught you good, man, and you're good at it. You've been doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost kind of like go off of this last stream. Like thanks to everybody that's hung in here with us. I mean, it's been miserable, but at the same time, like I said before, nobody I'd rather lose than with all of you guys. Thanks so much to quite a few of you who have jumped in here every week and showed support with your super chats and with your fun, like Falconer X and LW. He's done it too. John Bird, MDB 2006, man, you've been an all-star, dude. Thanks so much. This season's been great, man. Thanks so much for being here. James Hennessy, he's also done it. Abe Froman, which I love the name, and that's the Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. What a cool name that is. Hilo 79, Gordon Alfred. There's some other ones too. If I missed your name, I'm so sorry, but I tried to get the biggest supporters. But we want to heartfully say thanks so much for doing this with us for the whole season and actually being here and supporting and showing some love to the channel. I know it helps. It helps out. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Follow all Mark. I almost called him Mike. Sorry, Mike. Mark Rogers is all his other channels too, because this college football stuff will go year round, and everybody should tune in because the off season is great when you're a Miami Hurricanes fan.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Best time of the year. Best time of the year.
And I'll end on this. I'm going to respond to a comment Joey Foster made because he said something about Florida State, going off to another conference, and then what if Miami's got Florida and Florida State as two non-con games that they have to have. That's something else that I think I want to see Miami do, and I think it would make every college football team better. Joey, if I had my way, the absolute worst team Miami would play every year is something like UCF.
I agree.
And then they would have, they would have 3 Power 5 non-con games. I cannot stand them playing FCS teams. I can't stand playing these Group of 5 teams nobody's ever heard of. Just for an easy W on your schedule. Screw that noise. Give me something like a UCF or a South Florida. Or an FIU, somebody in state that 9 times out of 10 you're going to win, and then
you should prove it. And they're a decent team. I agree.
Yeah,
right. And then give me 3 Power 5 non-cons. I mean, if it's Florida and Florida State or 2 of them, you know what? Give me Notre Dame as the 3rd every year. That's the other rivalry I want to bring back. Give me the Irish every year.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That would be.
If only they would join the ACC, that would solve all the problem.
That may happen.
I don't think it will.
Yeah.
I think Notre Dame's going to get backed into a corner. I think one of these years they're going to be a 1-loss team and they're going to get left out. And the committee's basically going to look at them and go, well, if you had a conference championship game, you might be in. I think that's a way to force Notre Dame's hand.
But not with the expansion of the conferences. I think that will actually play to them.
What do you mean, the expansion of the playoffs?
Yeah, the playoffs. I'm sorry, not the conferences.
Yeah,
the playoffs.
Well,
that'll actually play into Notre Dame's hands.
It will, but that's another rant. I'm not even going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, let's start.
I'll go on that for half an hour. I mean, I seriously, I'm hearing people talk about expanding the playoffs it'll do away with all these players opting out of games. I'm like, the playoffs is what created people opting out of games. And so your solution for getting rid of it is more of the thing that created it. I mean, it sounds like you work for the government.
Well, on that note, let's go into the off season with our heads up and chin up, chest out. We are back, right?
Always 15-0, boss. 15-0.
I mean, where do we have to go from here but up? So I'm thinking we're going all the way to the top. We don't have to. And you know what? None of us Miami fans, we don't have to watch Miami lose another game this whole year. So, I mean, college football from now to the end of the year will be like totally stress-free. We got this, guys.
Absolutely. I'm already feeling better. I mean, it may be because I'm 4 or 5 drinks in, but I'm feeling a whole lot better.
Right. It's 1 o'clock on a Saturday. Let's see what time it is. Yeah, 12:52. Well, 1 o'clock. It might as well be on Saturday night, and we are all feeling good as Miami fans. It is great. It is great. I'm so happy to be a Miami fan. Any last words from you guys? Slim, I want to say thanks so much to you for doing this with me this whole season. It's been a load of fun. It's been a load of fun, and thanks to Mark Rogers for actually entrusting this channel to me. I don't know why, but man.
Yeah, Mark, I don't know what you were thinking entrusting your channel to us too, but anyway, yeah, thank you to everybody that showed up week in and week out to listen to us ramble on incoherently. And then, like you said, buddy, I had a lot of fun doing it with you too.
Yeah, it's been a blast. And Kyle, thanks to you, man. You've always been there. You've always been in the chats, always been in the thing. I've always been there. Glad to have you on, man. It's been a load of fun.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, fools. It's been great to I guess meet you. I of course already knew about Slim, but it's always great to hear y'all, go back and forth every weekend. And yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here, dude. Thanks for being here.
Yes, sir. I'll continue to keep watching.
Yeah, and thanks for everybody that gave support. I know this channel will be giving Miami Hurricanes content for the rest of the year into next year and beyond. So make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the voice of college football's Miami channel. And other than that, I guess let's go out on a good note.
Yeah, Gaddis will be back next year. That's a great note.
Yeah.
There you go.